G'day YouTube, my name's Lance and welcome to Bundy Bear's Shed. Well, the weather report. Look, it's been not too bad, it hasn't been too cold. The temperatures are in the low 20s and the last couple of days it's been a bit overcast. And we had a few showers around, things like that on Saturday and probably yesterday morning as well. And out of the whole 2 or 3 days of showers, we only ended up with 19 mil. But that's fine. That's greened things up nicely for us. And yesterday morning, I took the opportunity to slash the paddocks while there was a bit of moisture there, and also by slashing it then while there was a bit of moisture, just nowhere near the amount of dust that I often get. And so I've got the place looking nice. We've done the big tidy up. I've still got to work in the shed here. I think sheds are something that's never finished, but I've got no tractors out in front of the shed anymore. You'll see that in our little walk. With the young bloke's 30th birthday next weekend on the 1st of August, we've been trying to put time into cleaning up the yard, and we've mowed and we've done all the edges, and we've got the place looking nice, as good as it ever is for us anyway. And I've got a heap of firewood cut, I've got the fire ring done. All the front yard, we had some prunings, I've cleaned all them up with Jude. And, so look, it's looking good. We've got the gas bowls. I went and spent a heap on grog the other day, and just bits and pieces. My mate Drew was coming, and he does it to me a bit. He said, "Oh yeah, I'll be up there," and he's got a few drinking games and that, and he says, "Oh, go and get a bottle of this and a bottle of that and a bottle of something else." And I didn't get exactly what he told me, but I made sure I had plenty anyway. And he messages me the other day, "No, I'm not coming now because I've got a bit of work on, I might just stay there and work." So anyway, I said, "Oh, you prick," I said, "I spent $300 on grog." So I'll have to have it. Yeah, easy. Well, I went over to the other side of town to the Bundy Bear rum distillery, and there's a liqueur they have. It's nice. There's a 3-pack. I think it's salted caramel, chocolate, coffee, and banana toffee, I think. And anyway, on the way there's a Waterview distillery. They're sort of in opposition, but I've never been there, so I thought I'd call in and I bought a bit of liqueur off them and this rum. It's a Bundaberg style rum they call. Oh geez, is it nice. It's only $40 a bottle too, so it's quite a bit cheaper than the Bundy rum. And I polished off a bottle this week, just having a sip. And so we're pretty well geared up for this party, and hopefully we can get back up into the shed. I've put hours and hours into buggering around, tidying up, and look, the place needed it. As time goes along, you get a bit blind to the mess, and the mess Dad had out the side there. Well, that's just what happens in life. I can't go whinging too much. I told you last week that I'd overdone it a bit. I'd bug it up, and with putting all the steel in the skips and all that. And anyway, it turns out that one day I did 10 tonne, and it wasn't all myself because I had the forklift and that, but you still got to hump and heave and that. But the other night, when was it? Oh, anyway, after that, a few nights after that, I was laying in bed, and I woke up and I had these chest pains, and they gave me some curry, and I thought, oh shit, don't tell me I'm going to have a bloody heart attack, I haven't got time for that shit. And so I had a pain across there, and so I just had a big drink of water with an Aspro in it, and within 5 minutes or so it was gone. But I had a cold sweat, and I got a couple of mates that had heart attacks, and they said the cold sweat part is part of that. And I don't know, I mate old George, and he was just, his sons were in the shed welding, and he was there sitting there talking to him, and he said he felt fine, he just started sweating, no idea why, and they thought, I've got the ambo, and he was having a heart attack. So anyway, that went away, and I was a bit sore in the chest over the next couple of days. And then on the Thursday, I think it was, the same thing. Woke up about 11 o'clock at night and the pain across my chest. And I thought, boy, something's going on here, twice in 3 days or 4 days, whatever it was. And so I had an aspro and a drink of water, and I went away and I went back to bed and it was all good. So, but anyway, look, it had me worried. So I made an appointment at the doctor's, and I got in there last Thursday morning. And I got in there and I was telling him about it. And I was due for a checkup. I'm 60 shortly, so I'm due for a bloody me 60,000 K service. And so I was telling him about it, the doctor, and he said, oh shit, that's a bit odd. He says, it might be reflux, or you get acid in your stomach and the little valve on your esophagus doesn't shut. And I said, oh Jesus. Oh bloody don't. I thought it was, I didn't think it was that. And so anyway, he says, all right, let's, you want to go and have an ECG, electrocardiogram, see if I'd had a heart attack rather than my heart. And I was, yeah, well, that's what I'm here for. So we went and had that, and all good, flying colours, come through that with flying colours. And I said, oh, buggered if I know. I said, I've had heartburn, you know, as a young man, when you're drinking too much, you'd get a bit of heartburn and that, and it was nothing like that, just absolutely nothing like it. It was just pains, and it hit me that hard across the top here that I was sore in the muscles for about 3 days. And anyway, I said, can you send me up to get blood tests and, you know, do me cholesterol and the PSA and all that sort of thing, you know, let's do the bloody lot while we're here. And he checked my blood pressure and he said, oh, you're 150 over 90. He says, that's high. He said, how do you go when you're, when you're doing your lifting and all that sort of thing? And I said, look, I'm fine. And if you don't get dizzy-headed or anything like that, and I said, no, I'm good as gold, really. And have a drink of water and away I go. And but I am, the missus is always on to me because I overdo stuff. Yeah, I just keep going and work away. And so anyway, we're going to get all the tests done. I haven't done that yet. I've got this bit of a cold hanging around, and with the COVID hanging around, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to get the blood tests. And he said, would you like to go and have a stress test, on the heart, get the exercise going? And I said, well, my knee's rooted, but I can't run. But he said, you're right to walk. I said, oh shit, yeah. Oh, no worries there. So as soon as I get over my little sniffle and all that, the young arrow little fella gave me, I'll book in and we'll get this stress test done. But, he set I've got the blood pressure thing at home here, and I've got to do that night and morning. And he said a lot of people, and Ross that works for me, his blood pressure's up there wherever we are, and his is up there, and that 150 over 90, well, that's normal for him. Anyway, I've been doing mine, and mine seems to be 120 over about 75 to 80 most of the time. I've got to do it 14 times, night and morning for a week, and then go and report in. so we've been doing that. But look, apart from the wog, I feel well, and I feel strong. I've been out there today lifting, and lifting steel around and tidying up and the bits of timber and all that sort of thing, and I feel fine. I'll just make sure I don't dehydrate, drink a heap of water and that. So anyway, so I've got a few tests coming up. But yeah, the doctor said, he says, look, I'm bloody sure it's this reflux thing, the little valve buggers up, and your esophagus pushes food down, and he says that can bugger up and come up, and he says, oh, I can give you some pain because it goes down. I'm going to him. People come to me for tractors, I'm going to him for advice on that. So he's given me this tablet. He said, only stay on that a month and see how you go. And look, I feel fit as a fiddle, It's never happened again. I feel fit as a fiddle. My blood pressure's good. I can work and I can do the whole bit. So who knows? Might just be old age catching up. But anyway, I haven't got time for this shit. I got bloody tractors to play with. So yeah, this last week quite a bit of time was taken up on doctors and bits and pieces like that. And but I got a package from Edge Technology in America. Now the tramming setup I have for my milling machine It's an Edge technology, and I've got a vice work stop, you know, on my milling machine. It clamps down. It's an Edge technology and very well made, and I like their stuff. So, I mean, I'd ordered a test bar for my new lathe. I'm taking the time to get this new lathe, the AL960, right, as good as I can. And if you remember back, I had this machinist level I bought, and I set it up the close as I could, and it had this little bit of a twist in it, and I couldn't get the bloody thing out. And I thought, oh, I'll just let it sit there. I think I put it in on the 14th of May, I think it was, and I thought I'll just let it sit and settle and see how it goes. So the other night I went out in the shed and I thought, right, I'm going to try and sort this thing and see. So first up, Shark River Machine does a little video on checking your machinist level, you know, and you can put it on a turntable and turn it, and you can actually find a place where that turntable, if it's out a bit, by turning it, you will find a level thing. And so I put that into practice, and this machinist level, it's accurate to 2/1000ths of an inch, no, 2/10,000ths over 10 inches. So I found the neutral spot, and I did what Steve did, and the level was out a little bit. I mean, so at one end there's a nut, and you've got a little pin spanner, and you can turn this nut and get it right. So I spent about 2 hours doing that, getting it right, then turning and checking it on the lathe and buggering around, and so that level is good. It's right. Sometimes I can get a 1 mark difference, which is 2/10,000ths difference, but then you let it settle, and the closer you get it to being true, the slower the bubble travels. So yeah, just the level is good, and I took time then to fiddle around and get under the headstock on the lathe level, and then on the other end I still had this little bit of a twist I couldn't get out, so I ended up unbolting the cabinet, and I slid 2 bits of 4/1000ths of an inch paper between the lathe and the cabinet and brought it back down again and readjusted the whole setup, and look, it's great. This level, I've got 1¼ inch ply, then I've got 2 1-inch pieces of ply, then the 100mm by 5mm steel going through, and then the feet that I made to sit on that. And I can get it so it's just leaning, oh look, it's just down the front about 1 mark, which is 2/10,000ths, and when I try and adjust that, it's too much. What I mean, so I've got the main end and the tailstock end, I've got them exactly right to the right number, and which is 1 mark down. I can't get them both up. But so I took a lot of time and did that, and look, I spent about 4 or 5 hours doing that, just fiddling. And when I made the feet, they're 16 by 1.75 pitch maybe, and I should have had a finer pitch, I believe. But so look, I've got the lathe pretty well bang on. So the Edge Technology test bar came. I bought the test bar. I bought a 5C collet stop set off Edge Technology, and I bought a little thing that's it's a little quarter piece of bright bar, and you hold that in your chuck, and then you can bring your lathe tip under, and it'll sit there, and you can bring your lathe tip up and down just to get it in the bubble, and you know you're exactly on centre height. And it was just a little fiddly thing I liked, so I bought it. And but you would have to have your lathe true for it to be working. So so I did a run. I followed John Mills's video when he chucked up a piece of stock, and he put a 60-degree taper on it. He turned that in the machine itself, so it was, you know, that's how the lathe was turning. And I put it in the tailstock, and from one end to the other, no run out at all. The tailstock is dead true, as in front to back. And on the Australian Hobby machinist site I put on there, and the fella said, oh, you can test the top too. And I thought, oh shit. Some things people say and they think, why didn't I bloody think of that? So anyway, I put a dial gauge on and started at the chuck end, and I think you can see the video getting bright and dark, but there's in the roof I've got a panel in here, and the clouds come in and out, and that, so it changes the colour. From the tailstock end, with it in the two tapers, on the chuck end I set it to 0, then it went up the other end, and I'm around half a thou high on the tail. And apparently, I haven't read it, the fellows are telling me, when you read the books, it says a new lathe to 0 to 0.02 high on the tailstock end, and that allows for wear. So my Hare & Forbes AL960B, it seems to be bang on. I've not done the 2 circle test. Got a big hunk of bar just because I couldn't bloody find one, really. And I was going to put something in the chuck about a foot long and just turn a smooth section on both ends, and use the DRO and just feather it up nicely on both ends with no tailstock in it, just to see how it runs, how it turns without a tailstock, as normal. But look, everything seems to be turning up nicely, but I haven't done that yet. It's something I will do, just to see. And on the floor of a shipping container, you've got a cross hatch under the floor every 10 inches, and then you've got this 1.25 inch ply. And with the level on the lathe, if you stand right next to where the foot is and give her a bit of put your weight there, you can see it move 1 mark. So it's bloody sensitive. So and it sort of goes together, so that's all right. But that was just interesting. I'll see if I can remember to get a little bit of footage and just show you the test I did. The test bar is still sitting in the lathe up there, and it's I think a pretty good little test. I've been trying to work through the backlog of carvies and that people are sending me, and they turn up, and I'm telling people don't send them, and they're still turning up. So anyway, I've got one for Cowboy, and he's it turned up, and I've had it for a while, and I put about 3 hours into that on Saturday afternoon. I tried to ring him, but he wasn't answering. But I think it's a chuck away job. The shaft where the new bushes go, that's out of whack, so I'd have to make custom bushes for that. And where the choke goes, that lever there's buggered, and the screw that goes in's buggered. And by the time you put all the parts in, you're up well over $300, and you can have a brand new carby with warranty for around 400. So I think that's the way to go there. There's a 28G I finished. I've still got some injector nozzles to do off a 23C. But look, I'm trying to, I'm off to work at bloody 6 in the morning, and up past 5 to up past 6 I get in there and get going. And between 2 and 3 o'clock I try and come home, and I keep going. I try and have tea on for Jude if I can, a few veggies or something. Then I'll come back out, go out to my shipping container up there and work till 9 or 10 at night sometimes. And I'm still not getting my work done, so I'll have to bloody get my finger out a bit, I think. I'm wasting half the day sleeping, I think. I'm sleeping those hours in the night from 8 till 4, and 8 till 5 probably, or 9 till 5. I usually hop up at 5, so have a cuppa and head into work. So, but anyway, look, there's no machining this week. I was going to make that little rod for the governor and all that, but I just haven't got the gear. I thought I had plenty of it. I didn't even look. I thought, oh yeah, I'll have a heap of that. And when I measure it up, 30 thou small, and on a quarter UNC thread, I just thought that was too much. So we'll see. Next week, I don't know what's going to go. I've got my friends. I've got Rick's coming to stay. I've got my mate Mick from Mergen, his family friends. The kids went to playgroup together. they've been friends for 30 years. Pomone and Rick's been a mate for 40 years. So they're coming up for the weekend for the young fella's birthday. The nephews, Ray and Shireen and Dave, Stimo and Belle, they're coming over. So yeah, it's gonna be, we're gonna have a good time. The fridge is full already. Jude's been making rissoles and she's ordered the steak for the barbie. We just have barbecues and get together. Tim's got some of his local mates coming, so look, we'll have a great time. I doubt I'll be doing much filming, but we'll just see what happens there. We'll have to do the social distance thing. Try and keep, if you live in the same house, you can go sit next to each other for dinner, but we're going to try and space people out on the tables a bit, and so we can still have a conversation, but be a safe distance. So yeah, just try and do the right thing anyway. So okay, that's about it for this week. Thanks for dropping by. I've got a little walk around the shed. I've got a little walk around this tractor here because it leaked, and I've already filmed a little look at the tractor here. So you know what's going on there. That's a job that wasn't planned. It's going to have to just come in there somewhere, and this I'd like to get going reasonably quickly so I can so I'm back going. But look, if I find something and it drags on a little bit, it's no big deal. I've got the 1640 with the front bucket. I've got it that the slasher will go on and work fine, but that tractor there, it needs a solenoid on the starter. It's playing up the 1640 four-wheel drive with the front end load, with the front bucket, and I still have to sort out the four-wheel drive. It's stuck in four-wheel drive all the time, and there's a little spool there. And some of these jobs you think I could just jump into them, but you think, I should film that. That'd be good stuff. So you wait and you wait until everything's right. Where sometimes I think I should just jump in and do the bloody job and have it finished and don't film it, but it's just an opportunity to show people stuff, and I enjoy doing that, so we'll just see. So once again, thanks for dropping in, everybody. Have a great week, stay safe, and yeah, we'll catch you next week or the week after. Well, here we are, going for a bit of a walk. I'm just checking everything out now. Up at the house there, I'm hoping the wind doesn't blow this out too much on us. Up at the house there, the back of the house, we've mowed all that, and we'll probably have a few campers coming in there. Then we've just tidied up the paddock and put some more tracks in for the kids. This is the fullest dam we have at the moment. We got 19 mils of rain, and that's about as full as it gets. Then I've slashed all the paddock here yesterday. It's looking pretty good. I'm hoping to cut the wind out here, so who knows. I've got the wind at my back, so I'm trying to cut it away from the microphone, so we'll just see what happens. So look, the place is looking good. I've tidied up a lot of stuff out the front of the shed. If we go for a walk up to the front, where we had the old tractors and all that over near the shipping container, that's all gone now, and the 65's inside, and the Ford that was in front of the shed there, it's all inside now. They used to sit up the front there. So we'll go up the back and we'll have a bit of a look up there. Okay, coming in the shed here now, it's a bit different to last week. I've got the 65 in with all the 35s over there now. There was the camping body on my ute, but we're going to use that this weekend, so it's on the ute, and the 65 was parked around where the ute was there. So once the camera gets used to it all, so yeah, we've got the 65 in out of the weather until we get to it. We're in no hurry for that one. Now the Ford 4600 that we spoke about earlier, that we were going to try and get done this year sometime if we could, it's in here. So that's a step in the right direction. It is seized solid. On this I'm going to try a few different things, and look, I wouldn't mind a bit of input from my viewers, and I was thinking of doing a mix of citric acid and see if it'll break the rust there. Now, to do this job, I'm going to undo the front bolster. So the front bolster and the front axle is in here, where the front housing bolts on to the front of the engine, and then I'm going to take the axle outside and get it out of our way. But what that does for us when we're trying to turn the engine and pull the timing gears out and do all that sort of thing, well, we've got it on a nice solid base, still hooked to the tractor, and that should be okay for filming. We've got to get the starter off. I'll run through the injection pump. That's never had like the bleed screw in it and things like that. It's never had that while I've had the tractor, and it's been sitting outside, so that will need some work. Bit of surface rust, but I didn't pay much for it, and Sparex are helping with the engine on this one. Just a few parts. I'm paying for the machining and all that sort of thing, so we'll see how we go there. Up the top I've got a little bit more done up there in our bougie, and here's the old 2030, and yesterday when I was doing the slashing, oil was pouring out. Yep, and there we can see pouring out at the front of the gear sticks here. So then today I was running around on it and I wasn't doing it, so I suspect there's a little Welsh plug missing out of the front there. But this little tractor here, it's my main slashing tractor, and look, the bonnet's lovely and straight. I put new Sparex mudguards on it back years ago. But yeah, look, it's one of my favourite tractors, this little thing. And if I come back out here a bit, but when I bought it originally, I bought it off a fella. He's one of the doctors in town, and he's my neighbour here. And he said, oh, they sent him to the scrap, he sent him to the wreckers, but did I want to have a look? And I said, oh, okay. So I went and had a look, and I said, can I start that one? He said, no battery. It doesn't drive, the high-low or clutch or something's buggered in it. And so I said, yeah, all right. So we come to an agreement on the price, and I brought it home here thinking, oh, well, a bit of a basket case. So there's old Kelly dog just hopping up in her chair there. She says, nothing interesting going on here, I'll just hop in my chair. And, pardon me. And with this 2030, I got it home, I had a look at a few things, and I got the engine running easily. So it had a leaky water pump, so I put a water pump on it. And then the back end, I thought, well, I'll get ready to open that up, but when I went to drain the oil to see what was there, there was just nothing in the back end. So I got the I poured a little bit of oil in, and it on these tractors down at the sensing shaft seals. Now the linkage arms at the back, if we come around here, now where the linkage arms go on the back there, that's in the rear diff housing, and there's a sensing shaft seal, a load control shaft seal. And as I was pouring the oil in, it was coming back out again. So I thought, oh well, I'll just go and get a I'll just go and get a couple of load control shafts. I'll put that in, I'll clean the screen, check the filter, put a new filter in, and I'll just wing it and see if I can put a little bit of oil in and see what happens. And I put some oil in, and away it went. And I have not done another thing to that tractor, and look, I must have had it about 8 or 9 years now, and I've not done another thing to it. Right from the start, it jumped out of reverse, and you just hold your knee across when it's in reverse gear, and it stays in gear, no worries. And the PDO brake has never worked. Like, the PDO always turns all the time, and when you have the slasher on, the weight of the drive shaft and that stops it turning, but when it's not got an implement on it, it wants to turn all the time. So I've just finished the slashing, as you can see. I've been up around the paddock. I've done the slashing, and it's winter, so I've got a bit of time. So what the plan is I've got to pop that gear stick cover off anyway and have a look at why it was pouring oil out there yesterday. When doing that, look, I think I've been wanting to fix that reverse gear for ages, so I might split it. Now to split it, we actually have to split it on that split there, behind the gear sticks, just behind them. So we have to split it there, and that gives us access to the PDO clutch, the PDO brake band, the high-low, and the reverse gear, which on this box is sitting on the front on a little housing there. So I think we'll do that while we've got a bit of time to do it. And another thing, it's just started leaking out of the hydraulic pump a little bit, and these hydraulic pumps are in the front and they're 23cc per revolution, so we'll probably address that while we have it out of action for a little while. So it's something I wasn't really planning on doing, but you can't drive tractors around pouring oil and just keep pouring the oil in the top. It's just stupid. So over the next week or two I'll pop this apart, and while we're there, like these have a little oil manifold in the high-low that has sealing rings. We'll pop new sealing rings on and just run through the high-low and all that sort of thing while we're there. Like, it's about a day's extra work to do all that maybe, and we've got the gear to do it, so we might just do that. So part of our clean-up, we've got plenty of room for the old 2030. We've got room for the Ford 4600 sitting over there next to it. How and when we work on each, I'm not sure. The 2030 will be the priority because I'd like to get it going. And the topper, or the slasher, it's one I made quite a few years back, and it's starting to get a little bit of rust in the top, so I'd like to neutralise that and perhaps put another coat across the top of that as well. So anyway, these jobs, you don't plan on them coming in. It's just what happens. Now, when we come around here, my favourite little TE20 here, Sparex, I had a yarn to them the other day and they came up with a tank. Now, the tank that the aftermarket people supply, even though this is a TEA, they always supply, doesn't matter what brand, most of them anyway, supply the one with the dual outlets. And that's so the one part number can do a TEA or a TED 20, and it's slightly longer from that back fitting to the back of the tank by about 3/4 of an inch, but it's nothing to worry about. And this tap here, this is the old tank, and that's where the outlet is on this one. And this is a tap and screen that I put on it when I first got the tractor. That's a screen I bring in from America. And on any tap without a screen, I actually drill it out and I put this screen in, look, just as a precautionary measure. It does have a gauze up in underneath there, and so look, that's a good thing. I'm pleased that I've got that tank now. I will have to play with the plumbing a bit and make a new pipe. I am having trouble with a couple of fittings at the moment, but that's neither here nor there. Oh, sorry about that, I had to hop up. I was down on my knees. Story of my life. And we've got the manifold on and the carby, and there's a bit of plumbing to do there. I got the oil pump done last week. I haven't put the video out yet, but I've run through what to test. So from the sump here, pardon me, I'm just going to pop the oil pump in, put the sump on, and I'm not going to film that bit. Like, it's only 3 bolts, and we're going to have a go at, yeah, just get that bit done. And on the governor here, now there's often a little ball there, and the ball drops out all the time. On the governor, I took all that to work this last week, and I thought I'd try and find that little knuckle. Well, if you find a knuckle with a 1/4 UNC thread on it, well, it doesn't look anything like the original, and they're Deere as buggery. But I can find a 6mm, 6x1mm one, and it really looks like the original one, but with a 6mm thread. What that will mean is that this end I'll have to make the rod, this end I'll have to put a 6x1mm thread, and I've got it up in the my little workshop to do now, and down the bottom end it'll have to have a 1/4 UNC thread. The other problem I had with that is I went to do it this morning before I come up the shed, and the only round bar I have up there at the moment is 6mm, which is 30,000ths of an inch under a 1/4 inch. So anyway, I'll get some of the right stuff. I'd rather have it done properly, and we'll go from there. So that's just a little bit of a catch up. These other tractors, we had them out last week and did a run and did the battery charge and all that sort of thing, so that's all good. And the multi-power, nothing's happened. The bonnet for the 135 people asked me about. It's over here still. It's going to get a bit of urgency put towards it. That's annoying me. Bloody thing. And but yeah, look, it'll get there. I just haven't got time to go to work at the moment, I don't reckon. I think I should just pull the pin, come home, play tractors all day. Be nothing finer, would they?